I've always felt different. I wanted something more. For me, I wanted something more for my family, and I knew this was my way out.
It's a testament to your perseverance and determination that you even got that far where you could give it a chance, because to overcome all of those hurdles of people telling you, no, you're on the wrong path. It's hard to hear that from a lot of people, especially the ones you love around you. Welcome to this week's episode of the Real Wealth Podcast. Today I'm joined by Mark Ewen. I have to say, of all the podcasts we've done so far, the guys upstairs have not been more excited about one than having you in. So thanks for joining us. I'm also excited. You know, you've got an incredible track record, both in Muay Thai, MMA, you know, #1 UK amateur, 5-0 in your professional career. You signed with Bellator last year. First fight, dominant display against Noah Ganon. Really impressive, and for me as well, it's awesome to see someone from my local town, you know, making massive waves in MMA. So genuinely thanks for joining us.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. You've also done your research, you know, a lot. That's class.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested. That's the thing, you know. So where did it all start, martial arts? And could you give us a bit about your background?
I started martial arts when I was 16. I was at a point where I didn't really know what I was going to do in my life. It's like, when you're 16 at school, you're kind of just, you're doing your prelims and that. Some people are leaving school to go on and do like apprenticeships. Some people are staying on and going to try and go to uni and get a degree in that. And I was like, what am I going to do? Didn't have a clue. And one of my friends actually said to me, he just started training MMA. I didn't really think nothing of it, but I knew I'd always wanted to try MMA. I was like, listen, I'll go with you the night. I went with him that night. I never looked back. And when everybody was leaving school, people were staying on. I ended up leaving, got to college, went to college for a week and was like, this isn't for me. No. I just want to train all the time. Yeah. Just started training. And
you found an instant passion. And actually, I mean, to be where you are just now, at your age, to have started at 16, that's quite late actually, you know, especially in martial arts, because it seems to be something that people get into very young.
The kids nowadays at 16 are crazy. They would whip my ass, do you know what I mean? The kids at my gym at 16 are not far from the level I'm at, do you know what I mean? The level was obviously constantly growing, but I started off, when I started, I was like, okay time to start. Like, there wasn't much younger people than me. I think people maybe start other traditional martial arts when they're a bit younger, like karate and all that. Yeah. But that stuff doesn't transition. It transitions a little bit in MMA, but not as well. But you need to be a bit more older and mature, do you know what I mean? So like things like your karate and traditional martial art didn't really go that far.
Is there anything you think that's sort of in you inherently that just matches up really well with MMA? Did you go in there thinking this is going to be for me, or was it a shock when you found out, wow, I love this?
I think it's something intrinsically always kind of, I was always wanted to be like, I always watched like boxers on TV like Floyd Mayweather and aspired to be like that, or I don't know if you've seen the A-Team, the guys like Clubber Lang, and I mean he was in Rocky 3, like guys like that. I aspired to be like him, a black guy in shape and a fighter. I always kind of visualised that for myself when I was older, but I kind of lost attachment to it. But as I was growing up, I forgot all about it. But then when my friend took me martial arts, that just came right back. I was like, this is my chance to be successful through this. I can go on and be real successful and do well for myself and look after my family through this. Right away, so I started realising this is my him. This is what I'm going to do. Because at the time, your guys like Conor McGregor that are making millions and that as well. So
absolutely, like,
there's the path. Do you know what I mean? This is it. I'm set. And I never want to do anything else.
What did your family think about it when he told them, right, I'm going to be a professional fighter?
That was hard. Yeah. There was a lot of barneys in the house over me, over my brothers and that. Because I wasn't working, do you know what I mean? I was just training full time. And my brothers, I wasn't bringing any money in, do you know what I mean? My mum's saying you need to get a job, but at the same time she believes in me though. Do you know what I mean? At the same time my mum believes me, but at the same time she has to be on my back because the other two are bringing in money and I'm just kind of training. There's no like path I could show her.
There's no guarantee. It's not like you're in an apprenticeship for MMA where there's a guaranteed progression, you know.
Of course, but my mum was an absolute saint. Yeah, like we had serious barneys news all over me. It was hard as fuck. I'm not gonna lie to you, mate. Yeah, there was times when no one believed in me. Even my own mum was telling me to stop and not stop, but like she wanted me to go and get a job, go and get a normal job, go and get a job, and I'm like, I can't. This is what I need to do. It's going to work out, and later on I'm going to be able to look after all you, and you're going to regret giving me a hard time. But I just knew if I stuck to it, it would work out eventually.
I mean, this is a story that follows not just athletes but entrepreneurs as well, where, you know, especially when you come from from a background that's very working class. You know, we're from Falkirk, probably similar backgrounds. You know, stepping out with the norm, you know, which is you go to school, you get some further education, you get a job, you know, you work your life, you retire if you're lucky, and then you die. That's, you know, and if you make a decision early on, that's not for me. I want to have something exceptional that I can point to in my life and say, look, I've made a difference. Something I've done has either made a difference for my family in the future, or you've created some sort of legacy around what you've done. That makes people uncomfortable.
Shit. That's exactly how I feel. The way you just said there, like, I was never really, I didn't ever feel normal. I never really fit in.
Yeah.
I grew up with my mum, and I had 2 older brothers and a sister. They're all for different dads, so they're white, and I was the only black one. So I've always felt different anyway. Yeah. I've always felt like not a bit of an outcast, but like the odd one out in a way. I knew I was different. I've always felt different, so I wasn't going to go the normal route of having a 9 to 5 or joining an apprenticeship and just doing this and that and finishing and living for the weekend. It was never for me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I wanted something more for me. I wanted something more for my family, and I knew this was my way out.
It's a testament to your perseverance and determination that you even got that far where you could give it a chance, because to overcome all of those hurdles of people telling you, no, you're on the wrong path. It's hard to hear that from a lot of people, especially the ones you love around you. You know, what I always go back to, and we have a lot of this issues with our clients at the start and trying to shift their mindset towards thinking like an entrepreneur, when generally people are uncomfortable with you stepping out of the norm, is, you know, just getting over that initial mindset and actually listening to the people that understand what they're talking about in the context of what you're trying to do.
That's it.
It's taking advice from people who have never done what you want to do, or, you know, taking advice from someone who's never gone where you want to go. It's a dangerous thing, you know?
You're spot on. Like, I really believe if you want to be successful, listen to people who have what you want or have done what you want to do.
100%.
I mean? Don't listen to somebody that doesn't have a clue. Do you know what I mean? Going in the pub every weekend, he's not got a clue.
And we're quite lucky in sort of this era now that you've got access to it, because before social media and all that, it wasn't so easy to access. You know, podcasts are a massive thing as well, where you can access people that have achieved incredible things, and you can access them on a regular basis, either talking on podcasts or on their social media, and the value that you can extract from that relatively easily. You go back to the 90s, you wouldn't have a hope in hell. You know, if you were trying to access that, I don't even know where you would have went. You know, there'd have been books, but, you know, I've never been a big reader. I'm audiobook all the way for me.
I think it comes down to how bad do you really want it. Like, the point in my life where I wanted to be so successful, and I was like, how do I... Obviously, I'm training hard, like that's one part. There has to be other parts to success rather than just like constantly training my physical body. So I started training my mind. And I was like, how do I do that? I was watching YouTube videos constantly about reprogram my subconscious mind to really just be positive, things like that. And then I found out what I should be doing is getting books. So I got a library card, mate. I never had money to buy books, so I got a library card. The library's on the road. I went to the library every day and got books. I just started absorbing self-help books and psychology books and that, and totally just recreated myself through that, through learning and all the kind of stuff that I had. I was watching YouTube videos, I was reading, I was meditating, everything I could do. Like, I wanted it that bad. But like I said, I've always been a big reader since that. Reading changed my life. Since I read my first book, it changed my life.
I mean, it's a similar story for me. You know, there was a few books, albeit audiobooks, but books that changed my life. You know, I was a corporate guy for most of my 20s, and then Laurie and I started our business in our early 30s, became entrepreneurs. And there was a couple of books along the way. Rich Dad Poor Dad was one of them. Robert Kiyosaki, it's a classic.
Great book.
You know, and the 5 a.m. Club in terms of mindset, it's Robin Sharma, and it's just about, you know, having a process every morning that you go through where you're fixing your head, whether it's, you know, sort of 20 minutes of workouts so you're awake, 20 minutes of like analysing previous days, where the issues are, what can I do better today, what are my big goals today, what are the kind of big rocks that I want to get done in the day, and then the last 20 minutes is just learning something new, whether it's a podcast or an audiobook or whatever. But genuinely through that process of putting that in your daily routine, you can upgrade yourself massively through the process, you know.
Like I'm big on Robert Sharma and guys like that as well. Obviously Robert Kiyosaki, I've read that book. Like I'm reading all these books, trying to learn for these guys, and the way these guys set their life up, I do the exact same. Like I have a morning routine. I'll get up, I'll cold shower, I'll meditate, I'll then read. That's before I even get to the gym. So if I'm looking at percentages, maybe I've not even got to the gym and I'm already 3% better that day. I do that for a full week. And then for a month, for a year, think about how the gains I'm getting, the compound effect over the years.
It's massive. You know, the days where I've been up at 5 a.m, done a workout before I'm in work, I come into the office ready to go. You know, you've got that energy. Whereas if you just roll out your bed at 7, hop in a hot shower and then you're into work, you're not the same person, you know. There's something I heard you talk about on another podcast when I was kind of doing my research, and I heard you mention that you had ADHD, or you thought you might, or...
Definitely, you could say I had it, and I always say I had it. Like, I don't believe I have it anymore. I would say I'm maybe outgrown it. Like when I was younger, I was heavily medicated for the ADHD. Like I was given tablets. I had to go to school and get my tablets at lunchtime. Then went to high school. I was taking heavy medication before I went to school. And usually around the time I got home from school, but I wasn't myself. And I got to a point I was like, fuck this, man.
I mean, that's the big question for me, is how do you feel about that? One, about the kind of labelling of ADHD, and two, about medicating.
I didn't believe in medication, mate. I don't even take paracetamol. I don't take any pharmaceuticals. I'm against stuff like that, to be fair. But the reason I stopped taking it, I was just like, I'm not myself anymore. And I didn't actually say, I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking? Why did you give me that stuff? Probably just for an easy life, but I wasn't that bad as a kid. Like, she might say otherwise, but I feel like I would never medicate my kid to one of themselves. I want them to be the true self, authentic self, all times.
Well, I was listening to a podcast recently with will.i.am, and he's, you know, famous for having had ADHD or being labelled as that, and you know, he views it as ADHD is his superpower. Of course. And you know, the problem is not the person that's got ADHD; it's the system that's built around dealing with everybody in the same way. And if they can't deal with you because you don't fit in with that model, they have to medicate you to bring you into the system. And you know, it's where you're failing people, because you know, the way he explained it is, you know, you've got a room full of rocks, you know, and if you were just to spend the time and polish some of those rocks, you're going to find some diamonds in there. And you know, the system is not built for that. You know, it's not. And there's so many people that will never find their passion, or they'll never find their true capabilities because they're being medicated to become something they're not. I mentioned to you just before we started that I had a podcast last week with Donald Cameron, the other half of the Glasgow Crypto guys, and him and I were talking about, you know, medication, because I don't take anything either. You know, even if I've got a cold or whatever, I never take anything. But I fell for it last year where really bad toothache, and rather than go and deal with it because we were busy, I was taking paracetamol. Never do it, but I'd done it for 2 months, and I was waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning because they were running out and having to take them again. And see, by the end of that 2 months, I was a complete shell of myself, all for the sake of going to the doctor, the dentist, and get my tooth out. You know, it shows you how you can go along a path where you just become something that's not yourself, you know, or the version of yourself that you could be.
You actually wonder what they're doing to you, like. But I remember just being a total zombie at school. I was a zombie. I had no appetite. I was not myself. And I got to a point I was like, I'm not taking these anymore. Like, I want to be myself. And I remember stopping them being about 16 years of age. That's when I stopped them, and that's when I found martial arts. So I reckon obviously stopping them helped me find martial arts and then find my true potential.
Imagine a scenario where you hadn't stopped them, you know.
I wonder what would be going on. I wonder where I'd be. The thing is, I wouldn't take them on weekends. I would always be with my friends on that weekends. I wouldn't take them and refuse to take them. And they would wear off about 3-4 p.m. when I got home. So I was wild when I was out with my pals as well, at home and stuff. But I think my mum just gave me them for an easy life when she could just fucking tried something else. I'm against medication.
You know, it's the story for a lot of people, you know, and it's sad because, like I say, you know, we're probably missing out on some amazing people and capability. So you kind of briefly talked about the fact that, you know, that there's a huge mindset thing going on here with all of the learning that you're doing, and that has to be one of the number one things that change when you go into something like what you do as a professional fighter. So talk to me a little bit about the sort of stuff you do for, your mental strength and mindset?
Mental preparation, I think, is so important. Because of, like, obviously I fight and we do fight camp, so people they'll do a physical preparation, like they'll prepare themselves when a fight camp to maybe 12 to 8 weeks, you just rigorous training day in, day out. But that's just physical body. Obviously you might be getting confidence and you're getting a bit more self-belief through the hard work that you're putting in, but not a lot of guys are taking the time to sit down and actually still the mind and calm it down and work on it, or do things like breath work, and so they can improve their recovery, their immune system, and that. And I'm doing all that type of stuff. Like, I'm doing thorough visualization before I fight. Like that, I do like a visualization camp. As soon as I get a fight booked and I'm training regularly in a camp, every day I'll take probably about an hour to sit and get myself in a proper relaxed state of mind, get my brain into an alpha wave state or a theta brain wave state, and then start to visualize my fight. And it's not just I'm not just visualizing me fighting in the streets. Like, I'll look on Google and find out exactly what the cage looks like. You know what I mean? And I've done it before, and I've won a belt. I looked at the belt and I'd visualize the belt so clearly, and I'd touch it and I'd feel it, and before you know it, I've won the belt. But I'll visualize all these colours, the sounds, the emotions, everything. Like, I'll go into great depth. So when I go in there, sometimes I just get right in the flow state, and next thing you know, I've won, and I'm sitting in the back laughing with my teammates, and it's done because I've done that rigorous mental preparation.
Is there anything that helped you on that journey of visualization? Because a lot of people talk about visualization, and it works for some people, it doesn't for others. If you don't have the creativity and imagination, sometimes you can have a bit of a roadblock with it. Was there anything that you done? Was there any course or any particular person you went to who kind of helped you along that visualization, or is it just something that's there?
Something I consistently did. I believe you can cultivate any type of skill, like imagination. Like, obviously when I first started visualizing, I wasn't visualizing as vividly or as clearly or as for as long. I wasn't going to the depths I am now. Like, I'm constantly evolving and getting better. When I first started, I probably just visualized. I've always been a dreamer, even since a kid. Like, I would love journeys wherever I was going, the train, the bus. I just stare at the window and dream me a better life and dream me this and that. So I've always been able to dream and visualise stuff, but now I'm using it as a part of my work, and it's helping like leaps and bounds, you know what I mean? But it's over time, consistently getting better, and always picking up wee tips here and there. And like, I used to for a while, I never ever have visualised any negative scenes in the fight. I would only visualise winning. And now I'm at the point where I'm now visualising getting things like getting taken down and that, and then working my way back up. So then when I do get taken down, it's not like a shock to the system. You know what I mean? I've been there, I've done that before, I know what to do. So I'm constantly evolving, constantly getting better.
You talked about sort of meditation, visualization, some cold water therapy. Is there anything within that program that you think, I couldn't live without this? If I was to nail you at the table, albeit I probably wouldn't last very long, and say you can only pick one of these things, what would you say is the thing that changes the game for you?
The one that I've never ever missed, without a doubt, is a cold shower. It doesn't matter where you are, I feel like you can always turn the tap cold and do that. You know what I mean? Like, I have a cold shower every morning. I was in Thailand for 2 weeks there, and I couldn't have a cold shower. It wasn't cold enough. I was raging. I was like, I want this to be freezing. I was going to that spa to get that feeling, to get a cold tub. But the cold shower, the benefits you get for that, the mental resilience. There's not a morning I want to go in that cold shower. I mean, I sit and fuck. I'm going to go in there again. Yeah, I'm like, damn, and I'm like,
it never gets. It's not something that gets easy. And if it did, it probably wasn't cold enough. And
you'll find yourself pissing about in that. Brush your teeth, or maybe look at it. Oh, I'll check my phone. Like, you'll muck about, and I'm like, right, you need to get in there. Just get in, and I just go in face first right away, right into the cold water. And I'd never once ever regretted it.
That's something that my business partner Connor started doing them every morning, and he said that's been a massive change.
Change of life, I think, definitely.
I bought a cold tub end of last year. Still sitting in the box, but I'm working up there. I'm going to get that.
I think it's different with the cold tub though, because I've got a tub at the back and I've now got a flat, and I've not to fill it up. But the tub is like, you need to go down and you need to fill it up and you need to filter it and that. Whereas the cold shower, there's no excuse. Because everyone showers every day. You know what I mean? So when I turn it cold and get that kick start, that's the way I look at it.
What do you think about gratitude? Does that play a part in your
massively now? I've learned. I mind reading all these self-development books, psychology books that talk about gratitude and being grateful and that, and I was like, why at this time? Because I hadn't accumulated anything, I hadn't done anything, I wasn't successful or anything like that, I wasn't doing anything really well. I was like, why am I always talking about this stuff? But I tried to be as grateful as I could, but it wasn't until I started really getting right into like gratitude journals and that, and writing doing gratitude journals and just being so grateful and so present, that my life actually changed massively. So I'd say gratitude.
I think presence is a really important word, because certainly I'm sure it's very similar for you, but as an in entrepreneurship, we're always looking at the next thing. What's the next big thing? What's how are we going to get better? How are we going to improve? So that can kind of cultivate a bit of negativity around where you are just now, rather than taking that time to step back and just be present and say, look, if I'd told myself I was going to be here 5 years ago, I'd have been fucking delighted, and be thankful for those things.
I understand that. Like, I'm always looking for the next step or the next fight, and I always want to get better and evolve. Like, as soon as I fight, I'm literally breaking down my fight and what I've done wrong immediately. But there is a wee point where I will give myself time. Like, I went to Santa Ponza after that last night, there a wee holiday, and I took time to just reflect on where I've came from and what I've done. And it done me loads, like leaps and bounds of benefits from it. Just sitting down, slowing it down and thinking about, like, you're at the place right now where you always dreamed of being, do you know what I mean? And it's worked out better than you ever imagined it could. Sometimes you just need to sit and just smell the roses a bit. Just take your time and just be present and enjoy it.
Absolutely, and it propels you to go forward, because I've got the feeling of gratitude, genuine gratitude for what I've achieved so far. That's just going to put fuel in the fire for what's next, Is that kind of how you like to spend your downtime between fights, or, when you get the opportunity, a wee holiday with the family, or is there anything else that you like to do to kind of unwind a bit?
Eat food, obviously. I'm always dieting that, so I like to go for nice meals and stuff and nice walks with my family. Like, I like a nice scenic walk. Anywhere where there's just peace and serenity, where I can actually just calm the mind and actually reflect and just be like, you've done it, like, well done, but like, on to the next one.
I always find, after a holiday, a week away, like we like going to Marbella, and I just feel like I come back with a renewed energy for everything, because I'm like, one, you're kind of around a beautiful environment, the big yachts and all that, and you're like, these are the spoils of the hard work that people have achieved, and it's like, I want to be involved in it, whether I have a yacht or what, it's not the point, but it's just the kind of environment and just reflecting on things. You just come back ready to go,
that fire in you, totally. Like you're saying, seeing big yachts and that, I bet you're sitting there thinking, I want that, so let's get back to work. As soon as you get back, you're right back to work, because that's what you're doing it for. You've got that drive inside you.
What you talked briefly about sort of diet and nutrition. What does that look like for you?
So I've got a nutritionist, so it depends. When I go into camp, I need to follow a strict diet. What I do anyway, just makes it easier for me. Like, my MMA fighters are known to do big weight cuts towards the end of their fight camp, and obviously towards the start of the fight and fight week and stuff. We cut serious amounts of weight, so I just try and make it easier for myself. So I'll diet maybe like 6 weeks out, 7 weeks out. So when I get to maybe 1 week out, I'm so like that weight cut isn't as significant on my body or on my mind or anything like that, because it can be dangerous. People can die cutting weight and stuff. Like it's happened a couple of times. And also, you need to remember that I need to go on there and perform the next again day.
Well, the question is just, is your body fit to perform at its best when it's had to shed so much weight in a short period of time?
That's why you need to do it smart. Like, I've got a nutritionist that I work with. Like, he's smarter than me. I mind having to sit and count every calorie I was eating and MyFitnessPal and that.
It
was actually stressing me of having to put it all in. So I was like, if I can hire somebody that can just take that stress off my shoulders, then it's a no-brainer. Especially somebody who's so way smarter than I am in that field. Like, why not outsource that?
Does he just give you like a diet plan and that's you for the week? You just need.
I've got an app. I've got an app, and I can go on. If I didn't like something, I can say I didn't like that. I can change it myself. But it's like I'm not sitting eating like chicken and rice and asparagus and that. I'm eating like good meals. You know what I mean? Like nice sweet chili chicken wraps and like porridges with your peanut butter, and I'm having like spaghetti meatballs. Like, there's loads of mad different meals on my plan that I can pick. People wouldn't think I'm dieting and stuff I'm eating, but it's obviously all counted and all kind of
controlled.
Specific, controlled.
Obviously the start of your pro career, your record's been incredible. 5-0, you went into fight Noah going on, and he was 4-0, you were 4-0 at the time, and it was a dominant result. Wasn't all plain sailing though, right? In your amateur career, I heard you had like 3 consecutive losses. What did that, you probably got annoyed before bringing that up all the time, but what did that teach you and what changed?
That was a pivotal point in my career, mate, if I'm honest with you. Like, I didn't mind speaking about it because it was so impactful, having the 3 losses. The first loss came at a point where I was literally, I gave that camp my all, but I was at I was fighting a wrestler. I hadn't really seen wrestling before, and or a skilled wrestler, a skilled grappler, and I got away with beating 2 other guys before that. I then fought a wrestler, and I was kind of taken down at will and wasn't trying to get back up, and that I just never knew what to do. And that really broke me, that loss. Because I was like, I gave that camp everything, and I still lost. So I was just maybe outskilled in a way, and that hurt even more when I gave it everything. And I was like, what? How come this has happened? I've gave this camp my all. So then I had another fight, and I was like, well, I've gave them all the last one, and I lost, so may as well just do what I want and fight and see what happens. You know what I mean? So I done that, and I lost that fight, and I was like, and I done it again, and I was like, right, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, there's something I need to change. There's something going on here. Like, I don't know what it is, but I need to try and find a new approach to this. Like, some of these guys aren't any more skillful than me. I'm giving the fights away sometimes. You know what I mean? Just silly mistakes, stuff like that. This is where I started really going deep into like mental preparation and reading more and more books. Like, I'd always kind of read for like wee bits here and there from 16 to 18, but I lost the 3 fights when I was 18, I believe. And then for 18, I was going through a mad stage, partying with my mates and all that. Like, just not really. I was trained here and there. That's why I lost the fights. I wasn't really asked. Lost 8 fights and was like, what are you doing with yourself? You've left school to do this. This is your thing. This is your way. This is how you're going to look after your family, and you're not even caring anymore. I was like, you need to fucking really reel it in.
That's a lot of responsibility to put on an 18-year-old though, and it's a lot of maturity to ask for at that age. You know, I mean, we talk about, you know, obviously our building our businesses in our 30s. I don't know if I'd have been mentally prepared for dealing with what I have to deal with now in my early 20s, never mind at 18. So, you know, and I think that's the testament to a lot of great athletes is, you know, having to mature so quickly at that age and get your head straight. You know, you don't find many 18-year-olds talking about all of the stuff that it takes to actually get to that level, you know?
100%. Like, I needed that angle. Obviously, like you're saying, all the pressure that I put on myself, I think it was maybe just getting too much, and that's why I was partying and trying to escape reality in a way through drink and drugs and stuff like that. And I was like, right, you're going the wrong way now. Like, you just need to go back. And okay, well, I actually found that I just need to go back and start loving it again. Went back, started loving training, enjoying it, and just really pursuing my craft and just learning my craft as much as I could. And obviously doing the mental preparation, and then went on a serious win streak, and I've not lost since. I just love what I do. Like I'm saying, I started to be grateful for what I do, grateful for my life, but we'll constantly learning and evolving. We'll try to.
What does an average? Talk me through an average day for you when you're in training.
So I've got training camp. I'll get up, like I say, get up. Depends when I've got a little one now, so I get up early. But I used to get up at like 8, 9 every morning. First thing I do is literally, I wouldn't even look at my phone, bro. I just turn my alarm off and I just go right through the shower. I'd do my cold shower. I'd come through, I'd do 20 minutes meditation, and then I'd do 10 minutes Wim Hof breath on YouTube. And then I would sit and read my book. I would sit and read my book for maybe an hour before I went to my first session. I would leave at 10:30, get to the session for 11. Do my training session, obviously stretching that after, come back, fuel myself. I would never ever eat before my first session. I'd always do it fasted. Just because I feel like I used to always feel like I need to earn that food. And I didn't like training with a heavy stomach like that.
It's funny, like, the approach to that, because like I know loads of folk that are surprised when people go out to exercise without having ate. Personally, I can't do any like cardio based work if I eat, because it's just going to weigh you down, you know. But I guess that's just a personal thing, depending on how your body works, whether you prefer to be fasted or.
And you can teach yourself to do it. I mean, I just started that way, but now I'll have breakfast before I train, because I'm up that early with the little one. Like I would say, I would go train, I'd come back, then I would eat and replenish, but then I'd probably sit and read again. Then I'd get YouTube on the TV and just sit and watch countless podcasts and videos and read before I went again at night. Like, it's just stringent. Basically, like I was in like a military mode of just learning and evolving and getting better. Then I'd go train again at night, come back. And then once I came back at night, once I've had something to eat, it's then just free time. I would just sit and watch whatever on Netflix, some shit or something.
You need some wind down time.
You need that, or it becomes too much. But I'd give myself from the morning to that late afternoon before I went to my last session.
That's something that I give myself a bit of a hard time about, that, you know, that last hour before I go to bed, between sort of 8:30 and 9:30, I like to watch some shite on TV, on Netflix, whether it's a series or whatever, because I find it quite cathartic. It just cleanses your mind of all the shit that's been going on in the day, and you can go to bed and sleep. You know, whereas I think if I just switched off from work, went to bed, my head would be going, you know.
Be racing, aye. But I'm even sitting there, we've got like blue light blocking glasses. You heard of them?
No.
So they block blue light.
All right.
So I'm sitting there with them at night watching the TV. If I'm watching TV, do you know what I mean?
To make sure you get the best sleep.
Make sure I get the best sleep possible.
Yeah.
Like I'm on board. I'm tracking my sleep in that. Like everything's just thorough.
How do you try to sleep?
I've got the Whoop band.
Oh, the Whoop. Yeah.
So
I know Stephen Bartlett and Diary, so he's been talking a lot about that.
You've got the oil ring. You get loads of them. I've always wanted to do it. I've always got great sleep. I've always got like 11 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Now I'm actually tracking it to the minute detail here, which is amazing.
Have you noticed anything that throws it off? I mean, apart from the obvious stuff, you know.
The biggest thing is that regularity. If I go to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time, I usually get a great sleep. But if we start going to bed a couple hours later, or try and go to sleep earlier, I'll roll about. Say I try and go to sleep at 8 o'clock when I usually sleep at 10. I'll roll about for 2 hours and then I'll fall asleep at 10. So I basically wasted 2 hours in bed essentially.
For no reason.
No reason. But regularity, I definitely usually make sure I've got a good sleep with regularity.
Cool. Yeah, I mean that's a recurring theme just now with a lot of people, and you can see how, you know, your performance can dip if you're not sleeping right, or my diet is shocking when I don't sleep well. You know, you're just craving carby, you know, high fat foods. It's something that I've been working a lot on recently. I went through a spell, like I said, when I was taking paracetamol every night for this toothache, where my sleep was awful. I'd hate to have one of those Whoops, because it would have been, you know, saying you've got a serious issue.
You do see it as shit, because you're like, fuck's sake. You always want to get a good score. Like I'm in groups with some of my teammates and that, we're kind of trying to compete now. Like healthy competition to see if we can get the best recovery.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, holy shit, accountable and stuff. But when you get a bad sleep, like I was travelling back to Thailand and it was terrible. I was like, I'm going to try and catch up on the hours. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's good to hold you accountable.
Absolutely. I mean, your career is obviously on a massive upwards trajectory. How important is the team that you have around you and supporting you moving forward?
So important. Like a rising tide lifts all ships, I believe.
Yeah.
That's a great quote I've been saying a lot recently. Like my team are like, if the better I get, the better they get, and the better they get, the better I get. Like we're all just helping each other,
growing off each other.
The culture in the gym's amazing. Everyone's got the same type of goals. We don't want to be world champion, we want to be the best. So
yeah,
there's a healthy competition in there. Everyone's hungry, pushing each other. We've got a head coach kind of guiding us. Like I've seen, I've got a really good circle in me that just kind of all kind of success driven and like-minded individuals. Like even like my S&C coach and that, he's clued up when it comes to like he's reading books and that. He's on the ball with that stuff. Same when my nutritionist, I look at my sponsors and that. They're all people that, like my type of people, they're like-minded individuals that want more for themselves. They're striving to be better and do better. I try and surround myself with, because that's the only way I can be successful.
So important. You know, we talk about this all the time. There's 3 of us running this business, and I genuinely don't think I could do it myself. Just the power of having people around you that are, they may have different skill sets to you, but they have the same values, you know, and we're all trying to grow and move. It's, you know, it's such an important thing to get right, you know, because I go back to coming from Falkirk, but you know, there's not many people doing what you're doing around you. How many people are you going to bump into in this area that are like-minded? You know, it's not easy to find that group. You know,
it's hard to find them.
It's a bit easier now with, you know, social media, and we're a bit more connected to kind of reach out. But I just find that to be a massive game changer for people. It has been as well in our business, a big game changer, because we've created a bit of a network around property investors where, you know, guys building their property business, it's quite lonely, you know. So if you can have a group of other people to kind of feed off.
It's similar to what I'm doing. It's quite, so look, obviously I've got a team, but it's also a lonely sport. I'm not the person getting in the cage, so it's good to have other people on the same mission, the same goal. And it's really good for you.
So you signed for Bellator last year. Yeah. First fight in December, was it? Yeah. September. Oh, okay. And since then, they've been bought out by PFL.
So.
Is that changing anything? Do you know at the moment? Is it still up in the air?
I'm talking to PFL at the moment because there's a guy there, the matchmaker, Dan Hardy, who's fighting the UFC. He likes me and wants to promote me. He's like, listen, like, you come to PFL and we'll keep you busy. But I'm like, if you can keep me busy, I'll come to PFL happily.
Yep.
Main thing for me this year is activity. Like, I want 4 fights this year, minimum.
4 fights?
Minimum. You know what I mean? I had 1 fight last year.
Yep.
Always had my little one in May and that, and I was injured towards the start of the year. But this year, I'm healthy, I'm in control, so I want 4 fights. I would like to have 4 fights every year.
Yep.
So I said to Dan, listen, I need to be active. If he can't match me till June, I'll fight on a small show. Doesn't matter what show it is, I'll fight in any show just to get a fight in this year, and then I'll have 3 towards the end of the year. But it's looking like I might be going to PFL. We'll see.
Do you have any idea when your next fight might be?
I'll be fighting March. I want to fight March.
March.
Aye, that's what I'm pushing for.
And then if you're fighting in March, you're training camp 6 weeks before, is it?
I'm in it.
You're in it, so you're prepping for it.
Aye.
Yeah.
That's why I was in Thailand and stuff, just kind of training over there, literally just committing 3 sessions a day, just getting after it.
Tell me about training in Thailand. Why Thailand? And you know, what's the benefits of being over there versus just being training in the UK? Apart from the obvious.
Honestly, the sun and everything. But I'd been to Thailand. I'd been twice before to train Muay Thai in Bangkok. I'd never trained MMA in Phuket, but even though it's a lot bigger now, like MMA in Phuket, there's 2 big massive gyms in Phuket. There's Bangtao MMA, where I went.
Yeah.
There's Tiger Muay Thai. And obviously they're a hub for martial arts. Like everybody from all over the world goes there. You've got loads of Russians going over there, Australian guys, people from all over Europe. So I really wanted to go over and just see what it was like, test the waters and see how good I really was, and just mix it up with some of the best in the world and see what it was like, and just get away to kind of focus and kind of set my mind for the start of the year, because it was 2 weeks ago. So I wanted to start the year on a high, my foot on the gas and going hard, but it was good. It was really, really good. Training the heat's totally different as well.
Nice.
So 20 within seconds. There's great. The rounds are amazing. Like there's so many guys on the mat. It must be like 70 to 100 guys on the mat sometimes. It's crazy.
Wow.
Like it's a big, massive facility. Some of the best guys in the world. There's guys into the UFC passing through. There's guys at PFL, Bellator. All these big promotions passing through. So you're mixing up training with them.
Yeah,
you're only going to get better. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean that sounds like a great playground for perfecting your craft. Is there anyone in your head that you say, I'd love to fight them next if I could?
I'd love to fight next? I've no idea. Nah.
No.
I've never ever I'm not looking at anybody like that. I never have. Once I when I start maybe get ranked with whatever promotion I'm with, see, because this thing's all over the place anyway, Bellator and PFL, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what the rankings are at. But when I start to get ranked, then I'll know exactly who I want. Do you know what I mean? I'll start, here I want him, and I'll make sure I tell them that as well. Do you know what I mean? Not calling them out, but I'll be like, I'd like to fight you just so I can get up there and just climb the ladder.
Just get up that ranking.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pissing the wind, that I know who I want, and I'll try and get it as hard as I can, but I'll wait till
it's just about finding the fastest route to get where you're trying to go.
That is it. Literally is what I know where I want to go. That's it. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I just know where I want to go.
Do you have a 5-year plan?
A 5-year plan? No, I set my goals every year. I always do, and sometimes I've set longer term goals before. I can tell you, I've brought my main goal to my core is to be a world champion. Always has been. I want to be a world champion, and I will be. Like I've truly believe that I'll be a world champion. But my goals for this year, I'd have 4 fights this year. Have 50k in the bank.
Yep.
That's all I want to. I usually set millions of goals. I usually sit and write everything out, like loads and loads and loads. But this year I just kept it basic. Really short. 4 fights this year, and 50k in the bank.
It's a clear objective for the year. And speaking about kind of the target for 50k in the bank, have you thought much about your kind of financial planning, future planning? Got ideas in your head of where you want to take that?
I want to be smart with my money. All my money to make me money, essentially. When I want to make smart investments, like things like property and that. Speak to you guys, start buying properties, flipping it, stuff like that. Even like having some money in stocks and bonds and that. Any way I can have my money work for me, save me more money, I'm going to try and do that.
And I think it's really good to hear that you've read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which is one of the catalysts for a lot of people in their financial education. The challenge in this world that we live in is the education system doesn't teach you anything about money, and as an athlete you have the potential at a fairly young age to make a huge amount of money in a short period of time, and it doesn't necessarily have a long-term lifespan, the career that you've got. So it's really important to understand how money works and how to manage it and how to plan for the future. And unfortunately, a lot of athletes have kind of fallen at the wayside with that. So, you've obviously taken that on board. There was a story from Robert Kiyosaki where he was invited into the NBA to give a talk on money management and building cash flow to a bunch of young NBA stars that were making millions now all of a sudden. And a week before he was due to give the talk, it was cancelled. And it wasn't cancelled by the NBA, it was cancelled by all the money managers of these NBA stars, because they don't want them educated on money. They want to charge massive fees for managing them and just putting their money into plain vanilla stocks and shares. And the reality is, a lot of people trust their money to people that have never made any money in their life. They're just employees selling stocks and shares, rather than people that genuinely know and have built businesses and created wealth. And you know, it can be a really dangerous game, and unfortunately there is a system there that is designed to stop people understanding what are relatively simple concepts of managing money, wealth, building wealth in the long term. They put all this fucking jargon around it to make it as confusing as possible for the layman, when it's not. It's fairly straightforward. So, you know, I think, you know, it's you've clearly got huge earning potentials going forward with the talent that you have, and it's just a case of making sure that, you know, you're protecting your interests in the long term and thinking about sort of the exit plan, I guess.
That is it. I think you need to be smart, like you said. A lot of athletes have a lot of money and they get it. A lot of athletes come from nothing. That's the thing. They come from nothing and they get a lot of money all of a sudden. So the psychology is still the same. They've still got the same psychology if when they had nothing.
Yeah.
So you need to change your psychology. I mean, that's the biggest thing I had to do for a while. Like I grew up hearing words like, we're scared the bailiffs are going to come, this and that. You're going to, like, just always poor mind, like poor words towards money. Yeah. I always thought I was poor. I never thought I was going to be afford nothing. Do you know what I mean? So I've had to change my mindset towards money. I've read books like The Psychology of Money, and I've had to change my money and the way I approach money and the way I speak about money the most, because I would always say, I can't afford that. Even saying the words, it's just such a
how can I afford
power. Do you know what I mean? How can I afford that? And no, I wouldn't say I'm tight, but I'm just smart with my money. Like I'm not buying the hand unless I didn't need it. Like say, if I don't need it, I'm not going to buy it. Why?
And that's another really important lesson to be learned. Most people, as they start to earn more, they start to spend more, and that is the way to get to the end of the road and realise you've got nothing. You know, it's constantly, and especially when you're spending it on, you know, liabilities.
That's it. People buy cars, clothes, just to look good for people that didn't really care about them. Do you know what I mean? You imagine you put that money, say you spend 40k on a watch, imagine you put it into property. That 40k is going to make you more money. You know what I mean?
Someone once said to me, you know, when someone drives, if you're driving about in a Lamborghini, the person that's looking at you, that's head's turning, they're not looking at you, they're imagining themselves in that Lamborghini. You know, so if you think it's saying much about you, it really isn't. You know, they're more interested in themselves. This has been awesome. I always end the podcast with the same question, and that is, what does real wealth mean to you?
What does real wealth mean to me?
In terms of, you know, you're very focused on this career that you're building and the skill set involved in it, but you know, in terms of the long term, in terms of legacy, and in terms of creating wealth and looking after your family, you mentioned a lot of those things. You know, what is your view of, right, I've created wealth here? Because it's not always about money, right?
I would say definitely financial stability is so important. Like I would love that. That is definition of wealth, financial stability. I want my grandchildren to be okay, comfortable, and that gives them freedom. And I've got myself freedom, so I'd say that as well, freedom and just financial stability. That's the meanings I'm going to go for. I'd say
number one.
It's because you freedom to like do what you want and live comfortably and enjoy the finer things in life, and just. The biggest thing for me, I just want to look after my family. Like I didn't need a lot of money, mate. I'm happy with my life. I'm content. Yeah, I mean, obviously I've got goals that I want to accomplish and that, and I will, but when it comes to money, like, I could wear the same clothes every day and not really care. I don't care what anyone thinks about me, but I want to have loads of money, or shitloads of money, so I have to look after my family and be like I've promised my mum have a mansion in Malibu, and I have since I was like 17. When I first started doing this, and I was like, I'll get you, and I will. And I want to get my sister's first car, and I want to look after everyone. I want everyone to be sweet. And because I'm not really asked about money that much. It would be nice to have loads, but and go on nice holidays and stuff. But I'll probably still live the same life that I do. You know?
Has it changed much in your psychology since your your first child came along? Is it a boy or a girl? Girl. Since your little girl.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I was like the drive having a kid's totally different. Like everyone always say, wait till you have this kid with you. And I was like, aye. And then I've had this kid and it's like, wow. Like I've just got blinkers on now. It's another bit like full throttle to the finish line, eh? Like I'm not going to stop.
It's such a massive difference in life when you're no longer just responsible for you, and you can have a partner in life and still not feel fully responsible for them because they're an adult, but when this little thing comes along,
crazy,
that the amount of pressure you put on yourself as well, because you've got so much responsibility with it, it's a massive game changer for so many people.
I feel like your why has to be bigger than you anyway. I've always felt like that, like your why has to be bigger than you, because why, when it comes to the morning time where you can't be asked getting up, you wouldn't get up. Why has to be bigger than you? Do you know what I mean? Like my why before my kid was always my mum and my family. And now it's my family, and now that my kids and my missus and that, like I think your why has to be bigger than you.
That's another phenomenal book, actually. Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Yeah, loved that book. I actually really like that guy. He's good. Yeah, so good the way he puts things across. Mark Ewen, thanks a million for doing this. I'm really excited to see where your career goes, and hopefully you won't forget about us when you're in your mansion in Malibu.
I'll be getting